What's up, folks? This is Rich of RAE Media. We're back again, and I want to discuss some of the most, I believe, best lenses, Cine lenses, for the Sony E-mount system. These are considered micro primes, and I can tell you, after using these for about a year, these puppies here, guys, are some of the most incredible lenses that I've ever seen. So get ready, get prepared, because we're about ready to dive into some, like I said, some of the most greatest Cine lenses, micro primes, for the Sony E-mount system. Be back shortly. Okay. Is that good? All right. So then what happens there is, you leave. Okay, folks, so here we are. We are back. And I want to just talk about some of these Cine lenses. I made a pretty bold statement here, and I'm sure there's people that disagree. These are, in my opinion, some of the best Cine lenses that they've recently put out in the last 5 years. And so I just want to discuss these lenses. These are considered micro primes, which are sort of a new saying of sort, not real super new, but it's meaning that they are primes that are smaller in the Cine lens family, smaller than normal. But don't let, by any means, the size of these puppies fool you, because these guys are built like a tank. Do you hear what I'm saying? These are incredible. These are incredible lenses, and as I said before, you don't allow the sizes of these things to fool you. They are built like a tank. And you know, the saying being defined as micro primes just simply mean, as I was saying before, that they're smaller than your normal Cine lenses. Cine lenses traditionally are huge, big, huge, mammoth lenses. And so I want to talk about these lenses, and these lenses are called SLR Magic lenses, and they were designed earlier with a different housing, and that housing was really inferior to the new housing that they have, and I say new probably within the last 4 or 5 years, because these lenses that were made with this new housing, I think some of the optics are same. I think also some of the optics have been improved, are just quality. I mean, these are metal from front to back. The mount is metal, obviously. The body is metal. I mean, these are incredible. And for the price point, I don't know if there's anything that can beat them. Now, let's talk about, you know, I'm a positive person, but I like to get the negative out the way first. I mean, let's talk about some of the negative things about these lenses, and there's way more positive than there is negatives. And I say negative, but in some ways it depends on how you shoot and what you shoot. One of the clear negatives, I think, is that they have quite a bit of focus breathing, right? So when you're going in and out of focus, it means that the frame breathes back and forth. So for some of you that don't understand what focus breathing is, and for some filmmakers, that's a major no-no. And for most major films, you don't see a lot of that focus breathing. But today and in other creatives, they incorporate that breathing within the framework of their type of style. So again, it's subjective in some ways, but traditionally, focus breathing is considered a negative in Cine lenses. And these lenses, I have to admit, focus breathe quite a bit. Some a little bit more than others. I use the 25 millimeter more than any other ones, but I have here the 50-1.2, incredible, super duper sharp. I have the 25 here, which is a gem. I use this, like I said, more than anything. And these are full frame, meaning that they were designed for 35 millimeter sensors. Then you have here this little gem that is razor sharp. It's a 12 millimeter, and it was designed for APS-Cs. So this is not FE. This is E mount, and they make these also for Fujifilm as well. And I think they also make them for Micro Four Thirds. And here is the Big Daddy. It's the 75 millimeter, and it's a 1.5. Again, these lenses are incredible. But back to some of the negatives here. That would be the biggest standout in my opinion, is the focus breathing. The other thing is that wide open. Now some of these are a little sharper than others. Wide open, they're not razor sharp. Some of them are not razor sharp. But these are the type of lenses that you don't get primarily just for how tack sharp they is. Now, having said that, once you get past, the 1.5, the 1.8, and you get over into the 2s, game over. They get super sharp, okay? And again, even wide open, it's not like they're not usable. It's just, it would be considered for some pretty soft, and not. I don't think it's like hideously soft, but it's definitely a noticeable difference. Now, that's probably the two most negative things. It's chock full of positive attributes here, though. And we're going to talk about some of those things. Now, I'm not a pixel peeper. I'm not a real super technical guy. So all the specs and stuff, you might have to go and look some of those up. I might be able to list some of them. I think I might just do that just for some of the little more techie type people that want to know, the specs. And I'm going to roll some of the footage that I shot with these just to give you an idea. But one of the things that really stands out to me concerning these SLR Magic lenses is the look. After shooting with these for a year or so, I've really come to be able to notice the look when other people have shot with them. It has a certain look, and it's a really interesting look. It's somewhere between it's more of a hybrid. It's somewhere between a vintage look and a modern look with some modern flair to it, but it maintains a lot of that vintage look. So depending on the type of shooting you do, these lenses might be a dream come true for you. Now, I like a lot of character in the footage I shoot, and these lenses offer that. Now, if you just want clinically sharp lenses, straight to the point, color accurate, bing, 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 these are not for you. Now, if you're a creative and you're somebody that likes to do a lot of color grading and you get into different film simulations and so on and so forth, these are perfect. Now, I must say, SLR Magic is not paying me $1. I don't know them people. They don't know me. I bought these with my own money. They haven't been sent to me. And, I'm not against people that review product that's been sent to them. In the future, I may do it myself. I don't know. But just as just putting it out there, I haven't been paid by anybody. I'm not invested in them. They're not invested in me anyway. This is strictly a filmmaker and a photographer who's fond of these lenses. And I think for some of you who are looking for a cheaper, budget-friendly pair of lenses that will give you professional quality and you shoot cinematic stuff, commercials and films and what have you, short films and all that kind of stuff, these are some lenses you need to know about. So this is the reason why I came with this. So one of the things that I noticed as soon as I got them, and I made reference to it earlier, is the build quality. I mean, somebody got hit in the head with one of these, boy, they're gonna have a concussion. You might get a case. You might get an assault. You hit one with. These are not breaking. These are quality. These are extremely professionally made. The teeth on these things are amazing. They're metal. They have a really strong stop on either side. There are markings for some of those that have focus pullers, and it's very important for you. Their markings are on both sides, left and right. Some lenses have some good qualities, but they, may not be market. There might have the same markings on both sides. That's important for focus pulling. Another thing is, and these are little touches that I really am fond of. The inscription on these are incredible. They're not just painted on, they're sketched in. So they're going to last. If you look at the markings on here, they're quality. They are not just raised painting, because after a while you use and handle these type of lenses that have that inferior paint markings on them, they start wearing off, and that's bad news. But I'm looking at these, and I haven't had them, like I said, for around about a year. There's not any cheap painting here. They're very, very etched in well and painted in well. And that, for some people, and I'm one of those persons, is very, very important. Let's talk about the price point. So you can find these lenses online, used or new. I think at the time of filming this, they're about anywhere from $5.99 to $7.99 online. And I've seen them for used in very good condition for as cheap as I think $300. Now you get a Cine lens for those of you out there that understand and know how much Cine lenses cost. These cinematic lenses cost. They are up into the thousands. Okay, so if you have that kind of money and you're operating that kind of outfit, then God bless you. But for some of us who are on a budget, on a tight budget, we balling on a budget. Well, this might be your answer. Now, I've used other lenses, other Cine lenses. Rokinons, the early Cine lenses that Rokinon put out, they were good. They weren't bad. And I still have a Rokinon or two laying around, and I'm particularly fond of the 35. But Rokinons, they were, to me, were very clinical, meaning there wasn't any character to them. They had some sharp attributes to them, but there wasn't anything that stood out to me about them. Now, I haven't used the Zine versions, which is an upgrade from those. So I hear that those are very good and they're extremely cinematic. But even those can run you up into the thousands, a couple $1,000s. But for on the scale of what is cheap and what's expensive, they're still on the lower end. So that might be an option for you too. But these SLR lenses, to me, stand alone and by themselves simply because not just of their build quality and their price point, but the characteristics of some kind of way. These guys who brought these to market were very, very successful in giving these lenses a very specific look. And if you're someone that shoots with these SLR Magic lenses, you know what I'm talking about. So, it's just a brief overview and review of these lenses. And I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if you are someone that cares about character in your films and in your commercials and whatever else kind of footage you shoot, these are perfect. So get into them. Check them out because they're incredible. So here's a little footage from a commercial I shot for my wife's smoothie store. I wanted you to see some of the characteristics of this particular lens. I think I used a 25 for this commercial. And so check it out. I mean, you can see here, you see the detail and you see the look. The look is very very characteristic of these types of lenses, and that as we show you different footage, and I will in the future, and you can go online and see some of the other type of footage that these lenses produce, you will see some consistencies among the footage because as I said before, and I'm not 100% expert on lenses, and there may be somebody that disagrees with me, but from my usage and time with them, I have come to be able to recognize their look. Meaning, if you've shot with it, and I'm looking at the footage, I've been able to pinpoint that particular footage was shot with one of these lenses. So what do they offer? They offer different ones. I have the 75 1.5 here. Got the 12 millimeter 2.8 that was made for the APS-C bodies. Great for any of the 6000s, 5000s. Very good. And some of your Sony film cameras, which have the APS-C sensor. Great choice. Your 25, which is probably what I use more than anything, which is a 1.5. And of course we have the 50, which is a 1.2. This is a beast right here. I mean, this is something. And then they make a 35. I don't have that here in the arsenal. I think I might at some point purchase the 35 as well. I've heard some very good things about that as well. Then I think they make an 18 as well. And so, and they have the older ones. So when you are shopping for these, my advice would be to get the more recent ones, which are these lenses housed in these bodies. You'll see a difference. The older ones have a smaller housing, and they're not as pronounced. And there's a couple good ones in that bunch. Don't get me wrong, but I think you'd be better off getting these. These are all 82 millimeter filters, so not going to have any problem matching filters and different apparatuses on the front of them. It's pretty standard 82. And I mean, I couldn't say enough about these lenses. They are incredible. You've seen some of the footage here, and hopefully you're able to examine some of the work there from these lenses. If you shoot with Sony, it has been somewhat of a task and a challenge to find good Cine lenses that balance well on those bodies, because your APS-Cs are very small bodies, and even your Sony, your 7 Alpha is relatively a small body. So the problem has been, unless you rig them up, finding lenses that are not overbalanced, front heavy and things like that. And so you have these small bodies with these massive lenses on the front of these cameras, and it's awkward, and sometimes it's very taxating on the arms and the wrists. And so I'm very thankful and glad that these guys came out with these particular micro primes, because you don't have that problem. You can, and in the focus throw, let's talk about the focus throw on these things. It's not really bad. It's not huge. I mean, I don't remember exactly the measurement of it, but you can get a full turn without discomfort to the wrist, right? And so that means when you're filming, you can actually adjust your own focus pretty comfortably. Even if you have a follow focus, you're not going to be turning to Kingdom Come trying to get in focus. And so I've seen people shoot with these on gimbals and have a focus system, and it worked out really well. I've seen people focus. I myself use them on a really well put together cage. It'll probably be another video. I'll show you my cage with these lenses attached, and you'll see that it looks very professional, and it's not over taxating on the body and the wrist and so on and so forth, and it's very balanced looking. And so for that reason, these lenses are great. I mean, they're just great. I couldn't say enough about them. So when you're shopping for some good lenses and you're trying to consider what's out there, I want you to consider these. And you're going to thank me. I really believe you'll thank me for that. Now, again, if you're looking for some, clinically, what I would consider boring, super sharp, clinically sharp type lenses, these may not be for you. Now, I keep saying that, but I don't want you to walk away thinking that these are not sharp. They are. But wide open, I've seen sharper. And when you stop them down, maybe to 2, 1.8, something like that, boom. And once again, they're very usable, but depending on what you're shooting, you might, it might be something you want to consider. And also, when you talk about the focus breathing, depending on what you're shooting and how important that is present. That's probably the bigger negative to me, is the focus breathing. However, I shoot my films and the things I shoot, I utilize focus breathing. I use it as a character trait that I enjoy, incorporating into my filming. So it doesn't bother me, and actually, I welcome it. And that's unusual for some shooters. They don't want to, see that. So that's probably the biggest negative is your focus breathing. And but other than that, I mean, you cannot lose with these lenses. I mean, the quality built, the price point, the compactness of them. I mean, just there's chock full of positives with these lenses, and that's my take. And hopefully, it was helpful to you. So until next time, I'm signing off. Go get you some. You'll enjoy them. Later.